All right, welcome to the calorie calculator video. I am going to be explaining to you and detailing exactly how you can go about setting up your calories for weight loss. Okay, so firstly, let's dive into exactly how weight loss is achieved. Okay, so when it comes to anybody on this earth that has ever lost weight, they have had to have been in a calorie deficit. Okay, no matter whether this person did intermittent fasting, did keto, did carnivore, just track their macros, if it fits their macros, whatever sort of approach you want to label it, the universal theme that does not change, right, is a calorie deficit because the law of thermodynamics applies to everybody, right? It's kind of like the law of gravity, okay? So to put simply, right, when it comes to calories in and calories out, right, you need to have, intake less than you have expended, right? So if you intake any more than you normally would expend, you are going to put on weight. If those two numbers are about balanced, right, your weight would maintain, right? And if you eat less than you expend, you will lose weight, right? So that's just very simply how it works. All right, so now when we want to understand how we're going to set up our calories, there's just a couple of things more here, okay? So firstly, it's this idea of metabolism. What exactly is metabolism? And when it comes down to this, because I told you just now that there's two sides of the equations, right? In and out. We're concerned with both, right? But we're going to look specifically at the calories in, the calories out portion. Okay, so when it comes to that, right, there are a couple of things that make up your TDEE, essentially your total daily energy expenditure. Okay, the very first one is BMR, so basal metabolic rate. That's just how many calories you need and how much energy your body needs just to keep the lights on, keep yourself functioning, keep all of your organs working, your heart pumping, the lights on, basically, right? So keep it very simple. That's going to differ based on whether or not you're female, male, based on your height, based on your weight, based on how much muscle mass you have on you. So that's your BMR. That constitutes a big 60% of the total daily energy expenditure. Okay, the second thing that comes in is our NEAT, N-E-A-T, right? This is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is how much energy you are expending just by performing simple tasks, moving about in the day, doing your household chores, going to work, right? Going to the toilet, doing all these things, cooking, right? The amount of energy you consume or you expend rather from those activities constitute NEAT, N-E-A-T, okay? The next thing is eat, okay? So it's not how much you eat, but it is how much you expend during intentional activity or intentional exercise. So that could be going to the gym, going for fitness classes, doing any form of cardio. That's your EAT, okay? And your NEAT is considerably higher than your EAT normally, okay? The third thing, or the fourth thing, sorry, is your TEF. So that's your thermic effect of food. So that's just how much energy is basically taken for your body to process and digest the food that you consume. So say for every 100 calories that you're consuming, not 100 calories net get deposited into your body as energy, right? Some of it is used to actually break down and digest that particular food item that you have consumed to be able to extract the nutrients and extract the energy from that. Okay, so there's some sort of loss that goes about because of that, and that also constitutes to your TDE. Okay, so keep things very simple. These are the four factors that sort of impact your total daily energy expenditure. Okay, when it comes to estimating maintenance calories, okay, this is assuming you're not changing any activity, you're keeping everything static, you're keeping everything the same, okay, in terms of your activity levels, because obviously if that changes, your maintenance calories is also going to be affected, right? But let's not complicate things at this point and sort of just explain a little bit about how you can go about setting up and estimating your maintenance calories, okay? So the first thing is we are going to use this equation over here in the screen. It's called the Mifflin-Sanjor equation to estimate your BMR. Okay, so whether or not you're male or female, right, you're just going to follow along this equation. Put in your weight, put in your height in cm, put in your current age in years, right? And that's going to throw up a number, right? And that's going to be an estimate of your BMR. Okay, all these things are all equations, they're all estimates, right? There are many different equations out there. This is the one that I like to use, right? And it's going to help to give you a ballpark number to begin. Okay, so that's the thing with all of these things. It's finding a starting point first, right? So now that you have estimated your BMR, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to apply an activity multiplier. So depending on how active you are in the day, whether you are completely sedentary, maybe you're an office worker and you don't really get much steps in, you don't really exercise at all, you would go with a very low multiplier of 1.2. If you're someone that really hits the gym consistently, takes time to go on walks, does a little bit of cardio in the week, right? Maybe you're training 4 to 5 times in a week, you would pick a higher activity multiplier, say about 1.55. So just put yourself in the different category based on your current level of activity. Okay, so once you have that BMR and you multiply that by the activity multiplier, you're going to come up with an estimate maintenance calories. Okay, so the next thing is you're going to need to start setting up your fat loss calories and macros. All right, so let's assume that you have calculated that for you, maintenance calories is about 2,000 calories, right? Looking at this, we're going to be taking 20% off maintenance calories. So that's going to leave you with 1,600 calories as your initial starting point for your fat loss calories, right? But we want to take things one step further, right? We want to make sure that we're looking at body composition as well. We want changes to body composition. And that comes about from looking a bit deeper at nutrition, right? Beyond calories, looking at macros, right? So we have protein, we have carbs, and we have fat. Each plays a different role, and we need all of them, right, for a balanced diet and to support our training, right? Now the question comes, how do I set up my macros for fat loss, right? So I'm just going to keep things very simple here. For protein, we're going to aim for about 2.2 grams per kg of target weight. So say you are that 70 kg person that has maintenance at around 2,000 calories. Okay, these are all numbers off the top of my head just to make things easy to calculate. And your target weight is 60 kg, right? So that's a 10 kg loss, right? And for you, the amount of protein that you're going to be setting yourself as the goal to hit daily is 60 times 2.2, right? I don't know the number off the top of my head. I'm assuming it's 130 something, right? That's the number of grams of protein that you need to hit per day, right? Once you minus off that amount from 1,600, the remaining amount of calories you have are going to be split between carbs and fat. Okay, so this is going to be based solely on your preference, solely based on adherence. Some people have a better ability to adhere to a slightly higher fat diet, while others, are able to, basically adhere to a higher carb diet, right? As someone that is pushing for training performance, in the gym, physique performance, body composition, we normally want to, I guess, lean on the side of a little bit more carbs than fat, right? We do want a minimum amount of fat for hormonal health, for brain function, for all those things, right? But there comes a point where, too much fat in our diet just becomes, I guess, a way to kind of make our food tastier and more palatable and easier to eat. And we need that carbs, we need that glycogen for energy in the gym, right? To push for PRs, to push for our lifts to get strong. And if we're not doing that, then we're doing ourselves a disservice, because the whole idea around this is to hold on to lean mass during a diet, right? And that's why I've set the protein pretty high. Yeah. So obviously, this is just a starting point. There comes a lot of nuances with all these macronutrient numbers and calories, because, obviously everybody's individual, everybody's human. Maybe you're starting out at say 50 grams of protein. For you, jumping to 130 might be a little bit of a big jump, right? And you might not be able to execute that, right? So in that sense, maybe starting off with a lower number and then inching your way up to the actual target is a more I guess realistic approach, right? So obviously that's where sort of coaching comes in and a bit more changes to macronutrients on a more reactive basis. But hopefully this video sort of gives you a bit of an insight to what it actually takes to achieve weight loss, right? Very simply put, and also how to go about setting up your initial calories and macros for that exact goal, right? All right, so that's all I have for you. Hopefully this helps, and yeah, if it did, share this video with your friends, with your family, and yeah, feel free to drop me a DM and ask me any further questions that you guys have.